Welcome to this, our fourth and final section of Green Link Walk. Today we're heading down from the hustle and bustle of Blackfriars and Tate Modern down to Peckham in South London via Elephant and Castle. So the walk actually starts near Tate Modern, but we're starting out of the exit of Blackfriars Station. It's the easiest way to get here. Walking past the Founder's Arms, lovely pub to drink on a summer's day looking over the river, towards the Tate Modern there. And you can see the tower of the old Bankside Power Station, which in 2000 reopened as a modern art gallery. Certainly, if you like modern art, it's a great gallery and we will be visiting it soon. We're coming around the side. This is actually the main entrance. When you go down in there, there's a huge turbine hall that rises the full height of the building, and they tend to have quite good exhibitions there, very striking experiential exhibitions. This is the Blacklevick Tower on the side here. It's the old fuel tanks have been converted and they've added a tower. There's a beautiful viewing deck from up there with one of the best free views of London. Here we're just walking round the back. We pass this statue, the unknown artist, with an inscription in Latin which actually reads, "Don't applaud, just throw some money." And we're crossing straight over through the hustle and bustle of central London business district, really, just on the south bank here. Working our way through the obligatory roadworks. I never do a walk in London, especially central London, without there being some fairly major construction. Heading under these bridges, a lot of the bridges in Southwark have beautiful wall murals. You can see the train back there. If you were to head over towards Southwark Station, there's some really nice examples of street art lightening up the rather drab mix of old business and residential down here. So we're heading straight down Great Southwark Street. We have to keep charging along here because this is the green link, and the whole point of this walk is it links up 40 green spaces, and some of them really are quite impressive. But here obviously this is the getting to the green bit, and there's some really beautiful parks later on. A lot of residential estates here with pleasantly manicured gardens and trees. Even though it's in central London, there's still quite a bit of greenery around there. We're heading down Pocock Street towards Blackfriars Road, the main road in this area. The beautiful mural on the end here, if you see the cream bit that sticks out slightly, doesn't really show up on the video, but it sticks out. But back in the 60s, this building was built with that as a stone monument on the side, a piece of street art built into the building, but it's been pleasantly painted over the last decade, so it's quite striking. Walking down here, this is Blackfriars Road, always fairly quiet even though it's a major thoroughfare for vehicles, but we're heading down towards St George's Circus. There used to be an obelisk here built in 1771, and you can see it there in the centre. It disappeared for a few years. The inscription's fairly hard to read. Now at this point, the instructions on Go Jauntily are rather confusing. There's 5 roads that meet here. There's London Road, Borough Road, all sorts of different roads, and it's very easy to get confused, as I did, treading around the different routes because of the way the instructions were written. But you actually just want to turn straight left. So not down here at all. And we've made our way back to Borough Road. So heading down Borough Road towards South Bank University, and we're heading towards Elephant and Castle here. It's quite a bustling area, hectic, with a lot of students from the university during the day. And this is actually cutting straight through the centre of a lot of the university buildings. It's on the edge of Elephant and Castle, which this area's always quite energised, It always feels a little bit like, take the pavement back there, it could do with a bit of a clean up. It never quite seems to manage the number of people around here. And we're coming down to the roundabout, just a street away really, and Newington Causeway, which is the main road through this part. There's about 20,000 students at the university now. It's the old South Bank Polytechnic. So here we're turning right, and you get a first view there of the building with the fans on the roof behind the UAL building, which is University of Arts London. The building with the three fans on top is actually the Strata E1, and I've heard two versions of the story, both of which are quite believable, a sort of overlap. One is that they couldn't get planning permissions without the fans, so they installed the fans to generate electric without ever intending to use them. The other is that they did intend to use them, but they were so damn noisy and caused so much vibration that they stopped using them. Either way, I can guarantee you from central London, if you look south, it's quite an iconic building, very easy to spot, and I have never seen the fans working. So whether they were intended to or not, bit of a white elephant in Elephant and Castle. I'm sure it's a very nice, pleasant block. We're turning left here into this new development known as Ash Avenue, this road here. Really beautiful, leafy, green space, full of bars and cafes, places to sit and soak up the sun, still being built here. And I was actually called aside by a security guard and somewhat concerned, because you never know how random people are going to be when you're holding a camera. But he actually wanted me to interview him. I had to explain that it's a time lapse. You know, you're not really going to get a recording, but really nice guy. Then heading straight over into this little park. The route actually is supposed to run the other side of the fence there down Munton Street. But since there are entrances and exits on this side, it seemed rather silly not to enjoy some of that green space, even if for a second, before turning right onto Balfour Road. And here we're seeing a mix of different eras really, 1920s, immediate post-war, quite a lot of 60s, some older, maybe Victorian, some very modern boxers. And we turn left here at Chatham Street by the church, heading down towards Salisbury Row, which is actually a small park, not a row. Normally row would be a row of houses, but it's the park associated with that row of houses. And here it is. And the path actually goes into the park this time. Which I do find it slightly odd how the route has been mapped going past some parks rather than through them. But here you run through the park diagonally. The instructions are a little confusing. You have to just keep going down the path to the right until you reach this tree and go straight across. And then you turn. No. You go straight ahead because it's not that clear. Just over to the right here, a lovely monument here to Leo Callaghan, a local who was killed in Iraq, and the local people have put up a monument to them. And there's a heartfelt message from the community. And straight across Catesby Street, we're heading into Peace Gardens. And then past a bunch of different developments before turning down into Tatum Street. And you can see here a mix of the high rises from the 70s in the distance, more modern flats. You see the whole evolution. I think I talked on my last walk about how there was a period where the higher you could build them, the better to fit everyone in. And then it led to social ills, and they all got blown up and knocked down and replaced with 5 floors or less. And now we're back to 20, 30 floor high. If it looks modern, you charge a lot of money for it. So there's been a whole reversal in the design philosophy of buildings in London. But personally, I think we've swapped ghettos in the skies for terraced houses in the skies. And there's a lack of community in a lot of ones that I've been to. Turning here, there's the Happy Shop. There's a mural on the wall that's seen better days. So we're straight on to Kinglake Street. And then at the shop on the corner, kind of looks like maybe it used to be a pub. We're turning down Bagshot Street. And our first sign of rather large littering here. Littering is a bit of a problem in the suburbs of London. I think partly because it's so expensive to get things picked up and a lot of people don't have cars, and as there's more and more people in London and it becomes more expensive or complicated or difficult to take stuff to the tip, a lot of people find it more convenient to just dump them on the street and let someone else solve it. Now here we've entered into the park, and it's a really beautiful park, Burgess Park. We're only going through part of it. I wasn't supposed to cross the bridge. We were supposed to walk on the other side of the lake, but we still meet at the same point, and I'd say the instructions are no less clear if you go down this side than if you follow the route you're supposed to. But it's straight on down. You could actually turn left. You can see the remnants of an old canal bridge, but we go ahead to turn back to come under the bridge rather than down to it, walk down the side. Having been to Burgess Park before, I think this route through it does some justice to it, but it doesn't give you a real idea of the scale. It is a pretty big park. We just come in at the lake, turn right, loop round here, and head back down to the Surrey Canal, which is an old canal which has been filled in. It's kind of sad to see a canal filled in. I think it's always lovely walking next to the river. Somehow a railway without trains is usable as a bike route or a walking route, but actually filling in and destroying a canal feels sad. But then at the same time, there's only so much water space that can be kept, and it does open this area up a lot for the public. You see, we walked under that beautiful old bridge there, and then just down this long straight. Reminds me a lot of the Capitol Ring. I think it's stage 14, and to the left you snatch a view of the City of London. And we're actually near the end of our journey for this trip, fairly. Don't speed ahead too quickly. It's, I would say, while we're waiting to get down to Peckham, it's an interesting walk. I enjoyed the Green Link walk. I think it shows you very different aspects of London, and it works its way down through section 1, very much out in the suburbs and very green and leafy. Section 2 was quite pleasant, making your way in towards Angel. Section 3 very much felt like a city walk and was more the squares and gardens within central London, which there are plenty of them, and we just touched a few really. And now this piece is coming from Tate Modern down into an area I know well, Southwark and Elephant and Castle. But as you head south, seeing just how many pleasant parks there really are. I mean, some of the best parks in London are down south, like I particularly love Battersea Park down by the river with the Peace Pagoda. And now we're still heading down the old canal. At places you can still see the towpath, there's a hint of it there. But just up ahead when we go under the bridge, you can see it quite clearly where the old brick path has just been repaired. And you can also see how this is the quiet way into Peckham. So it's actually pretty good encouragement to travel into Peckham rather than going on horribly crowded, dirty streets with loads of cars, walking down this beautiful avenue of greenery where the canal used to be. And takes you through all the housing estates and the local shopping centres and convenience stores just a couple of moments away. But here really you could be pretty much anywhere and much further out. We break out onto this more open space. You can see the busy streets starting to come up towards us, but we're under this bridge as well. And that's where I mean the towpath. You can see on the right where there was a towpath actually built into the structure, and whilst the rest has been landscaped, you still see a hint of its canal past. We'll have to do a walk down the canal, perhaps Rickmansworth down to Paddington. That gives you a good feel of the Grand Union Canal, and again cuts through a lot of outer London, seeing areas you wouldn't really normally see. I would say best in the autumn. Maybe we'll do it in the autumn. There is actually a half marathon down that stretch in the autumn, and from I think Cowley to one of the park, Castleberry Park in Watford. And here we are. This is the end of our journey, the end of the Green Link Walk, and I've certainly enjoyed it. I think it's a good addition, only added in 2024. Good addition to TfL's main walks around London. And there we are in Peckham. So please do like and subscribe. Really does help, and helps you see next week's Wednesday walk.